Welcome to iRefresh, where we empower ordinary women to do extraordinary things through the power of prayer and encouragement. And today with me, I have Lisa Fenimore.
Hi.
Good to have you.
Thanks.
We've been doing a few of these fun little things, and they're called the Q&As with us at iRefresh. It's random questions, and we'll just see how much fun we have with things like, so I'm a chocolate fan, and are you?
Of course.
Okay, great. So it would, but preference, dark chocolate or milk?
Is white chocolate an option?
Wow, I never thought about that. That's awfully sweet. You're very sweet.
Yes.
White, do you like the white chocolate? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I enjoy it when the coffee. That's a good thing. Oh,
yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Okay, that's tough because...
Really?
Yeah, I love both. There used to be a tea store in the mall, and it closed, and I had a little bit of a tea addiction because you could go and use your...
There.
It just opened, so I need to go there.
My walking buddy Veronica, I'm like, there's a tea place.
Yeah, it's a new one. But the other one was owned by Starbucks, and you could use your free rewards on tea. So I had a little bit of an addiction, and I had so many different kinds of teas. But on a normal day, coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's your coffee? Black or white? Or
black.
No, white chocolate? Black coffee?
Black coffee, white chocolate. That's my breakfast.
That's great. Okay. So if you do water, flavored water or carbonated?
I love LaCroix.
Okay.
But I've recently found out that it's not pronounced like that. It's LaCroix.
Yeah. Okay. We'll end at that point. But I always like fun little this Q&A for random things. But what I would love for us to talk about today is really the maneuvering and maybe the struggles and the journey, and maybe just the highlights of having 3 kids, like how you do 3 kids. I'm not sure. And along with all the transition as you went through cancer, your husband went through a similar thing. Highlight something with us about what it's like having the kids in the midst of all this.
Well, I'll give you an example from yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was in the fitting room trying on clothes, trying on this shirt actually, and I had my 2-year-old with me, and I didn't have a stroller or cart or anything like that. She was just in the fitting room. So I am changing. I have nothing on except my undergarments, and she decides just to run under the door of the changing room and just book it, and I am not clothed, so there's nothing I can do. And I'm like, Everly! I'm trying to get dressed as soon as I can, and I hear her running down the hall, and then I hear a voice I could tell someone out there realized there's a child escaping. So I'm like, I'll be right there, and I peek my head out of the door, and it's this maybe 20-something woman standing there is she yours? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, Everly, come back to me. And she came back to me, so I didn't have to run out, without clothes on. But that's a pretty accurate representation of life with 3 kids, I think. That's
or is that her personality?
She's a little saucy sometimes. Yeah.
I think she might be like Mama.
Yeah. Well, I am also the 3rd child, so I don't know. Maybe there is something to that. I don't know.
Playful.
Yeah.
Very fun.
But Target made their doors lower now, so kids can't escape. I think a mom designed that.
I think that was wisdom.
Yeah, there's wisdom in that.
Wow. So now you know where to go with her shopping and where you can't. Or you're going to have a lot of layers, so you might have to just figure out what it's like to have clothes on.
Bodysuit, no matter what. Ready to run.
Wow. So what is it? Okay, so you have 3. So tell me names, age, male, female.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Gabriella is 7. She's about to be 8.
Okay.
She's finishing up 1st grade right now. She's very excited for that, to be a 2nd grader. And that's been hard for me because I'm like, I don't have this little child anymore. She has personality and she wants to choose certain shoes with her outfits, and I'm like,
decision making.
Everything is JoJo with the big bows. You know JoJo?
Oh yes.
Yeah, she's taking over the world with these bows.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so my daughter's right in that age where everything is rhinestones and glitter and bows, and she's a little sassy too, but in a good way. And then Jacob is 5, and he is just my sweet, sweet, cuddly boy, Jacob Samuel. I can't even describe him. He'll just randomly be like, Mommy, I just really love you. And I'm like, yes, come to me. He just is such a charmer, and he has these beautiful eyelashes, and I feel like I'm going to have to be batting women away as he gets older. No, not my sweet boy. But he's always been a little cuddler from from when he was born. So he's my sweetheart. And then Everly, my runner. So, and she's 2. She just turned 2.
You get your exercise with your...
I do. Yeah. You know, people talk about like mom arms from like holding babies. I think it's a real thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like I used to be able to, until my boys were, I don't know what their age was. I know there was like a 65-pound on one side and about 60 on the other. And I was so proud that I could still carry them down my hallway.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is about to be done. But because they'd always fake, I don't know about you, but they would always fake that they were sleeping.
Yes.
They might be sleeping or they fake sleep. So I have to get them out of the car and take them to their beds. And I'm like, are you kidding? My husband would kind of look at me like, they can just wake up. I'm like, no. Because I want them to go to sleep. And then they kind of have their eyes like open a little bit when you lay them down. Like, seriously?
Yes.
Okay. But I'm like, okay, exercise. That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So I have a funny story. I purposefully, and I think most moms have done this at some point in their life, but just continuing to drive around the block to get their kids to go to sleep
yes,
at
I've
night.
Heard that.
Yeah, like it's close to bedtime. They're kind of on the edge. We're just going to roll with this for a few miles.
Yes.
So I was driving around the block, and I didn't hear anything for like a solid 5 minutes. So I thought, great.
Safe.
They're out. They're out. So I bring one kid in, I bring the other kid in, and then my oldest, she's still in her seat, and she's like 60 pounds now. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? I get her, I go through all this stuff, I bring her upstairs to her room, and she goes, surprise!
No.
It was all a lie. She wasn't asleep through any of it. She made me do all of that. So, yeah.
Ornery.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so what happened? Did you get her to go to sleep?
I mean,
or just lay there?
I told her to lay down, and we did a little bit of our routine. But honestly, I appreciate her humor, so it's very hard for me to be straight faced. Like I can't do game face in those moments and just be like, Mom, like you go to bed, don't do that, you know, because I just think it's really cute. And I'm like, oh, that was funny. You got me.
You know she's going to do it again now.
Oh yeah, definitely she's going to do it. Yeah.
So. I don't know if that's just, is it happy all the day, every day, or are there moments where you're like, are you serious? You know, especially when you and your husband were going through challenges. Do they play off? Do they pick up that stress that's, going on of just dealing with life?
Yeah. Well, so the backstory, I had cancer and then my husband had a tumor. After I was cancer-free and job changes, moving to different cities even. So there has been a ton of transition in the last 4 or 5 years of our lives, and
all their lives.
Their whole lives. It's been just one thing after another, and because of that, I think there has been tension, there has been stress. There have definitely been moments, even with my husband and I, where things are just tough. Yeah. But we try to keep the home joy-filled no matter what. And I'm not perfect. I can't say that every day. I'm like, come on, darlings, I've prepared this meal for you. Let's sit down and eat.
You don't cook a meal every evening, do you?
Oh, no.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I wish. Most of the time I'm like, do you want chicken nuggets or grilled cheese?
There you go.
That's my life right now. And then I eat the scraps that are cold pretty much.
Yes.
But yeah, so there are tense moments and stressful moments. So I can't just pretend that everything is great, but I think that's why I'm so grateful for the Holy Spirit that gives us joy through the moments, that gives us peace through the moments. And, I've literally locked myself in my bedroom for a few minutes and said, like, go away through the door because I just need to refresh and get my headspace in the right place because I don't want to be mean mom that yells and gets angry. And I think it's so easy to get caught in that trap, especially if you're already exhausted from just doing mom things. And I know as my kids get older, it'll be different mom things, but still mom things, So trying to take moments to refresh, even if it's, locking my kids out for a second.
No, but
fingers
regrouping
under the bathroom door.
There's no place where you're safe. They can find you.
Exactly, and they know when you get on the phone, and they know when you're, trying to use the bathroom. Like they know everything. They're there. Like, mommy, they know. They know always. It's crazy.
Yeah. So the opportunity that you've learned, even in the midst, to know that the wisdom to get away, to be able to regroup instead of unloading on them. I think that is great. That it's okay to have permission. Yeah. And then even for them, like to have a time out kind of thing. Not for necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes we just need to regroup.
Yes.
But if they learn that you regroup, then it gives them permission, like it's okay. It's not a bad thing. Well, they can take it as a positive, that we just all have to regroup and focus our attention.
Yeah.
that's a healthy way to handle it.
Absolutely.
Versus the explosions when it's too late.
Yes. And I think my husband has been really instrumental in helping me realize that I need those moments. Sometimes in the moment, like, you need to chill.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of times he's like, why don't you just go hang out at Starbucks tonight? And I used to be defensive, like, why? Why do you say, did I do something wrong? And he's like, you just need some alone time. Because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I'm an extrovert. I need interaction with people. And when my only interaction is little people, it is stressful because they're needy. I'm constantly serving. And when you're constantly serving, it leaves you empty.
You're right.
And if it's not in, prayer time, getting in the Word, even practical things like getting out and hanging out with friends, you just feel empty. And so I'm grateful for my husband that sometimes will point it out in me when I don't see it myself, that I need to take a little bit of a mommy chill pill and go do something fun,
But
get out.
But learning, because I can totally see that, because I can see my husband's done the same thing. Yeah. What are you saying? What is the undercurrent?
Yeah.
But yet they're wanting to bless us.
Yeah.
So that if we're better and more healthy, emotionally or whatever, then it's gonna. Because you shift and change the atmosphere, good or bad, in your home, and your kids pick up on that.
Yeah.
So I think that those are really great tips that we can really take away. That it's okay, and there's a grace for it, and especially if you're an extrovert, I can't imagine. Well, I can't imagine. I remember in the moments you're like, I need adult talk.
Yeah. Like, can we not talk about bubble guppies and Daniel Tiger? Yeah.
But I think when you started doing, that's why I think I had my kids going into so many different activities, because you had mom talk and you get so many great tips.
Yeah.
Because you're like, when you're going through something with a child, you're like, this didn't work and this didn't, and we don't have time to always read.
Yeah.
But if you can exchange stories with another mom, and like, oh, I'm going to try that one.
Exactly. I think it's so easy, especially of a mom with young kids, to just kind of fall in the trap of being to yourself, or feeling like you don't have time for friendships, you don't have time for hobbies, you don't have time to do things for you. And I think like self-care and self-love is a word or a term that's thrown out a lot lately, because mental health is it's kind of coming to light. People are really focusing on mental health. And as a mother, and especially going through transitional times, I didn't always see the need for my own mental health. I didn't see, well, I'm serving this way, I'm giving this way, I'm taking care of my kids, I'm taking care of my husband, I'm, homeroom mom, whatever it is. It kind of leaves you at a place where you feel like there's nothing for you, and it makes you go inward, And I think it's just kind of a trap where you want to go in sometimes and feel like you just sort of feel like nobody really cares. I could never venture out again, and nobody, no one would ever see my yoga pants, and they're fine with that. But I think one of the best things I ever did for myself was actually through all the trials of cancer and my husband, and then having our third child and moving different states and different jobs. One of the best things I ever did for myself was really realizing that I need something for me too. I can't just constantly give out. And the Lord spoke to me so clearly that the way I am, the quirkiness, the goofiness, I'll dance in the kitchen with my kids, whatever it is, He spoke to me that when I am myself, it's honoring to Him, because He made me that way. Wow. So really in the last couple of years, I've sort of taken that to heart. Like, it's okay for me to be quirky on Instagram, or it's okay for me to make up dance moves with my kids. There's a day where they are not going to want that. They're going to be like, Mom, that is so not cool. But right now they still like it. So I'm going to capitalize on it because I like it.
Because, I was like embarrassing my kids at this point. So do it now when you can.
Yeah, because they're not quite embarrassed yet, but they will be.
Yes.
But another thing is that I started to exercise, and it was never something I thought I would enjoy, but I invested in a gym membership with good childcare. And I'm able to go and exercise and just be in my head and pray, or whatever it is, just focusing on my health and having time to do something for me consistently without a kid pulling at my leg. For someone else it might not be exercise. It could be, a mommy's play group or something like that, whatever it is. I just think it's important to take time for yourself so that you can refresh and kind of figure out who you are and who the Lord has made you, because you're not just a servant to your family. Even though we are to serve our family, we are not just a servant to our family. Exactly. Yeah.
I think you're right with the self-care and balancing that, and and making it, you're talking about too, doing it in a regular, consistent way. Yeah. I think exercise, we all need it, because that will affect us emotionally and physically, and then probably even spiritually. And you can get really creative with that, because even though I'll actually work out with my son, but I'll walk with a friend, and and no excuses. We go to the mall now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's
a
sale.
tea store.
Oh, great. Oh, wait, that store closed. Wait, what store was that?
Yeah,
I'm like, it's been too long.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, though. You need to make a habit of getting yourself where you're outside of your element.
Yeah.
And get probably a really fresh perspective anyway.
Yeah.
So when you go back, you're like, maybe you can even have God moments that gives you like clarity of what to do with your kids at different stages. Because as soon as you think you got them figured out,
they change.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I think that's really healthy. And I think, what was it like to you? Talked about you moved several times. I can't imagine moving with infants.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, some of them they were toddlers. Did you have ideas of how to do that and change and shift? Because it was more of the change that you and your husband probably had to go through than them not knowing any different.
Yeah. I honestly don't know how we got through all of it.
Really? Is it kind of a blur?
It kind of is. I think sometimes when you go through difficult things, you just go in like fight mode, like, we're just going to do this. We're just going to do this. But my husband's mom is very much like an organizer type of person. And so she's been really great in like the times that we've moved, that she's been like, okay, I'm going to come over and we're going to do your kitchen. We're going to box up your kitchen today. I'm like, yes, thank you. Like having someone that's a skill set that they're good at, because I'm not so great. I'd rather dance in the kitchen. She'd rather pack in the kitchen.
I love it.
So having,
good.
Yeah, so maybe just knowing people in your life that are good at things that you're not, that you can kind of pull on and be like, hey, I kind of, we're moving, I need this or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like that idea, because, we can't be all things.
Yeah.
And do what you do well.
Yeah.
But having a mother-in-law has that ability is awesome.
Yeah, I'm grateful for it. Yeah.
I think we should probably tag our friends where they have a different gift than we do, that we should hey, come on over.
Yeah, come on over. You're good at cleaning. Yeah, offer tea. You're really good at cleaning refrigerators. Can you come over? No, but I think that, through those moves and stuff, it was challenging, but I would try to take it step by step. We're going to do the kids' room, we're going to do this, and knowing my capacity and trying to plan accordingly. Like, I can't pack up a house and move a bunch of kids in one day. So,
right. Breaking it down.
Yeah, and I also can't, afford to hire someone to come do this for me. So we're going to break it down and getting the kids involved. Like, hey, let's put your toys in a box. Let's make sure that they're safe, so do you want to put your Barbies with your stuffed animals or your Barbie, just making it fun for everybody so that it doesn't always feel like a chore, that it doesn't always feel like maybe a sad thing if the kids are processing emotions of a move even. Okay. Getting them involved in that way so that they're also looking forward to the next thing. And my husband was so great too at always sharing with the kids, because his dad was in the military and they moved quite a bit. And he told me that his mom would always pray over him, that he would always get better and better friends from city to city, just, basically glory to glory. And so that's kind of how we've taken our approach whenever there's hard things with the kids. Like, God will give us better. He doesn't close a door not to open up another one.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I think, the way it sounds like your family has learned to maneuver through changes. I think a lot, whether it's moving or going through, both of you, going through cancer, tumor, being able to have children, even when the doctor said there's no reason why you should be. The miracles that God's done in the midst of your family. But every one of us goes through some kind of a challenge. And I like your approach of looking around and seeing what you can do.
Yeah.
And what are some other things that you think would be helpful for our audience to be able to hear of things that you tapped into, that you or your husband worked together to work through some of the challenges you went through? Because he was transitioning with different jobs at different points, and I'm thinking, okay, if you had cancer and you have treatments, and then that means you got to make sure insurance is there. What are some things that you've had to go through that you think would be helpful?
Yeah, well, just on the practical side of going through those things, you see people going through treatment, you see people, going to doctor's appointments and such. But there's the practical side of the stress, the emotions, health insurance, the finances, things like that, that are kind of, it's like if you have a tank of stress those things are already putting you at halfway, and then the actual diagnosis or whatever it is kind of puts you up at the top even more. So we would just make sure that we're giving out to one another in the way that we feel like each other needs. You know, like our love languages are different, but just knowing who you are, how you receive love, how you deal with stress. My husband and I are very different in that way. He is a great communicator. He's very good at pulling out questions and making me think. I can just be like, don't talk to me, I'm stressed, you know, and I do need time to process emotions and process thoughts. And sometimes that, it makes for stress even within our own marriage, because he's like, talk to me, don't do what you're doing, talk to me, you know. But he's a quality time guy, and I'm a words of affirmation girl. So we've kind of learned, we've been married for 10 years now, so we've...
But you've learned that early on then.
Yeah,
so that you can help complement whatever the other one needs.
Yeah. And it's not like this amazing science that works every time. We have our moments, you know. But knowing that about each other, whether it's friendships, marriage relationships, kid relationships, just knowing how they give and receive love, I think is a valuable tool in moving forward as easily as possible. It's not always with ease, but as easily as possible.
I think it's great. No, I think, you know, I think there's a lot of different things that we can go through, whatever our ups and downs are, and you're still like, no matter what, you have 3 kids. We have kids, we have responsibilities, but learning. I like how you have engaged your kids even in the process of your changes, and whether it's a move or walking through the cancer, or like you talked about earlier in the other episode about your daughter.
The wigs.
With the wigs.
Yeah.
I just think, like, oh, how cute is that? That she participated and you made it a fun experience instead of something was depressing or heavy.
Yeah. Like, should mommy be a redhead today or a brunette?
And that's very, but I think it flows well with your personality, which both you, and that, I think that the one thing I see that goes with everything I've been learning from you too is consistently trusting God, going deep with Him, hearing His voice, and allowing the Holy Spirit to now lead you with everything.
I think stopping to listen is huge, and we just get so busy, and I get so busy, and when you're dealing with tough transitions or just situations in general, you get busy in your mind and physically trying to do other things, and taking a moment to listen is powerful. I remember when I was going through chemo, I basically put it on my calendar that on chemo night I was going to take a hot bath and spend some time in prayer, which is such a simple thing. But I was like, I want to detox in multiple ways.
That's great.
So I took time to do that so that I could listen, and those were some of the best conversations I had with God. You know, no hair, no eyelashes, nothing, but just sitting in the tub listening to a podcast or just praying or, you know, watching a church service online or something. But I could hear the Lord speak to me in those moments. And even when I started to lose my hair, it was a very stressful thing, of course, because it's your hair, you know, you feel like, I'm a woman, I don't want to lose my hair. But I remember just being still and just hearing God say, I know the numbers of hairs on your head. I know when there are 0. Like, I just felt that so strongly that He was saying, like, I know whether it's 1,000,000 or it's 0. Like, I know. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. That's thinking powerful. About it. But rather than taking like, oh, I'm going through this hard thing, I've lost my hair, like, God still knows. He knows what I'm feeling. He knows that, you know, there's nothing on me. And just that, like, the peace of knowing that God knows. And if you're not taking time to listen, then you're not really feeling those things. Obviously, God can reach you in different ways, but I think listening is so important in going through trials, pausing to really get in touch with God and to hear what He's saying.
That's so good. I mean, I think that's where we need to understand too, is the listening factor. I think we can get caught up in our emotions, and we don't stop to hear what God wants to tell us. So there's so many wonderful nuggets. It's been wonderful spending time with Lisa and just hearing her heart and what God has been doing in her, through her life, and just the richness of where God has taken her, even in the deep places. And I think that all of us, we need that hope. We need the understanding that God is always with us, and He does want to bring joy, even in no matter what their circumstances are, that we can choose joy. And that's definitely what Lisa and Nathan, her husband, have done. And even engaging their kids in the process, in the midst of everything. That's who our God is, that He is constantly there, present, if we will engage and listen to Him. So we hope that you will subscribe to our podcast, share and tag people on our Facebook, and let us hear from you. I believe that there's a lot of people out there with parenting, or cancer survivors, or transition in life, job transitions, the struggles that we go through, just meeting our personal basic needs, that a lot of us have been going through that. And Lisa has some really great words of encouragement. And so please be good to share it with your friends who could really use this encouragement. Until then, go change your world.